All right, good morning. The Director General of NAPTIP, Peter Adamubelu, ON, Directors of NAPTIP, our partners, stakeholders all over the world, our virtual viewers, ladies and gentlemen, I want to sincerely welcome us on behalf of our Director General to this conversation with NAPTIP. This is part of the activities lined up for the celebration of 2025 World Day Against Human Trafficking. As you know, NAPTIP is the lead agency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in combating human trafficking, and just like the DG outlined yesterday, the agency has been performing credibly, impressively, and today we are here to talk and look at the theme of the celebration. Yesterday, the Director General had the World Press Conference, which was attended by a huge number of media partners, both the new media, the hardcore media, and contemporary media. The media, they asked a series of questions and answers were given. And today we are engaging with our virtual stakeholders, and we have a very important topic to discuss: unmasking the network combating human trafficking as organized crime. We have a guest speaker who will be coming on board any moment from now. But before then, we have the Director General to open the floor, as it is our tradition here. Our Director General will give us a brief remark. Thereafter, we'll have a comment by directors that are here. And thereafter, we'll have our guest speaker who will give us an insight into the role of the civil society organization in the fight against human trafficking. But before we do that, this morning I have the honor and privilege to introduce to us this morning a woman that is doing Nigeria proud in combating human trafficking. Despite the evolving nature of human trafficking, she's scaling the height, she's outmastering the human traffickers. As she's picking them, she's interjecting and intercepting victims at various exit points, and also prosecuting the traffickers. She's also partnering with a series of partners, development partner donor agencies, and doing us proud. I introduced to us this morning our own Director General, Peter Adamubelu, OON, the Director General of NAPTIP. And also with us this morning, we have the Director of Public Enlightenment, Mrs. Kennedy Akumalafe, Director, Investigation and Monitoring Department, Mr. Andrew Raoti, and also the Head of International and Intelligence Professional Unit, Ms. Barrister Mrs. Shine Duagan, and also the SA to Director General is here this morning. My name is Vincent. I'm the Press Officer of NAPTIP. At this point, I'm happy and excited to open the floor for our Director General to speak to our visual audience through her remarks. The Director General.
The directors of NAPTIP here present, our guest speaker, distinguished stakeholders online, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the officers and management of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Person, I welcome all participants to this virtual engagement tagged Conversation with NAPTIP. This is part of the activities lined up for the celebration of the 2025 World Day Against Human Trafficking. The 2025 World Day Against that calls us to reflect, to stand firm, and to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to ending one of the most heinous crimes of our time. This year's theme, human trafficking is organized crime and the exploitation, is therefore a call for a deeper understanding of the nexus between human trafficking and organized criminal networks, and the multifaceted, multinational approach to disrupt operation of the gangs across the world while ensuring a victim-centered approach. Human trafficking is a sinister crime that exploits the most vulnerable among us: children, women, and men seeking for safety, hope, and a better life. It knows no boundaries, no race, no religion. It is a global menace that demands a united, relentless response. As a focal agency of the federal government of Nigeria, our mission is clear: to protect, to prevent, and prosecute those engaged in human trafficking, and to restore hope to the victims. We have dedicated ourselves to this cause with passion, resilience, and a firm resolve to bring about meaningful change and change the narrative of human trafficking in the country. Over the years, we have intensified our efforts, strengthening laws, increasing enforcement, and collaborating with national and international partners. We have also prioritized victims' rehabilitation and integration, recognizing that healing goes beyond rescue. It involves restoring dignity, confidence, and hope of the victims. I want to assure all that NAPTIP remains deeply committed to ending not only the exploitation of the vulnerable, but to end human trafficking in Nigeria. Let us come together, organize ourselves as stakeholders to disorganize the organized criminal gangs. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
That was the remarks, very powerful, from the Director General, Binta Adamu ON, telling us the resolve of NAPTIP to continue to scale new heights, to continue to ensure that we reduce the vulnerability of Nigerians. And but very important, the last part of that speech, very powerful, that we should come together, organize ourselves in order to disorganize the organized criminal gang. Very important, very important. We must come together. And at this point, I want to invite to speak for 5 minutes the director who is in charge of public enlightenment, getting to the level, getting down to the grassroots. And don't forget, we are considering unmasking the network combating human trafficking. What are those networks that we found in the course of our public enlightenment, in the course of reaching down and all that? I invite Mrs. Koinde Akomalafe, the Director of Public Enlightenment.
Good morning, our online viewers, and thank you for joining us this morning on this auspicious gathering. Our mission here today is simple. We owe it a duty to the world to let everyone know that human trafficking is a heinous crime. This crime perpetrated amongst all over the world does not know age, does not know gender. It involves everyone, male or female, either in the urban area or the rural areas. This therefore calls for a concerted effort by everyone, either the state actors or the non-state actors. We as an organization have the mandate to dismantle this criminal network gangs so that we can restore the dignity of our children, of our brothers, of our sisters. What does it entail? It entails information and education across board, from the north to the south, to the east to the west. We need to get everyone involved and join us in this fight against human trafficking. NAPTIP cannot do it alone. And that's why we work in partnership with all and sundry, the international, the subnational regions. We have a mandate to protect and let everyone know that human trafficking is evil. What more can we do? We owe it also to the public to know that NAPTIP is an agency that has the power to arrest and prosecute traffickers. We also have the mandate to protect the vulnerable population, which incidentally has nothing to do with if you are old or young. Advocacy needs should also be encouraged across all boards. Everyone should come on. Publicity is very, very key as a tool to preventing this crime in our society. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is Director of Public Enlightenment. At this point, we want to invite our guest speaker on board. The guest speaker is Mrs. Imabong Ladipo Sanusi, the Executive Director, Worklife. She is also a staff member of NAPTIP. She's been in the humanitarian space for quite long and doing very well. She'll be also speaking with us and unveiling the civil society perspective of human trafficking and organized crime. Do we have our board, please? Wait for her, then I take the Director Investigation and Monitoring. I know that in the course of investigating issue of human trafficking, arresting traffickers, intercepting victims, you may have come across a clandestine issue of human trafficking as organized crime. So in your view, looking at unveiling the network, unmasking the network, exposing the network. What are those networks? You can tell our viewers so that they will be well guided. Director of Public Investigation and Monitoring, please, Mr. Andona Oti.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Human trafficking, as we know, is not a random or isolated crime. It is a well-coordinated, profit-driven enterprise, often involving transnational criminal syndicates. Like drug cartels and arms dealers, trafficking networks are getting more structured and resilient, and increasingly sophisticated in their methods. They exploit vulnerabilities, poverty, conflicts, gender inequality, and weak governance to recruit, transport, and exploit victims. From the investigative standpoint at NAPTIP, we see that trafficking rings operate much like organized crime groups in the sense that they operate like cell-like structures. Recruiters, transporters, enforcers, and exploiters often operate in cells to insulate the leadership from direct culpability. Use of deception and coercion. Victims are lured with false promises, subjected to document fraud, or forced into servitude using threats or traditional oaths. Cross-border operations. Networks extend across West Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Traffickers collaborate with corrupt officials, smugglers, and fake employment agents and recruiters. Financial motivation. Huge profits are laundered through informal money transfer systems and shell companies. To unmask these criminal networks, the investigation department employs a multi-pronged strategy. Intelligence-led investigations. We work closely with domestic intelligence agencies, border officials, and community to gather actionable leads. Digital forensics. Traffickers now use encrypted apps and social media to operate. We have strengthened our capacity to analyze digital footprints and track financial transactions. Joint operations. We collaborate with Interpol, Europol, IOM, and other counterparts to conduct joint investigations and repatriate victims from other countries where they have been trafficked to. Victim cooperation. Many successful investigations stem from victim cooperation. We work with counselors and case officers to gain their trust and elicit critical intelligence. It has been pointed out already that this crime is a clandestine one, and it is a transnational crime. It is highly organized, and we are calling our partners this morning and communities in which we operate to lend us their voices and also lend us their information wherever they find such issues of human trafficking. Please report to NAPTIP. We're always ready and willing to investigate such cases. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director, Investigation and Monitoring Department. It's been very, very nice listening to that and giving us a breakdown of the syndicate and their mode of operation. At this point, we have on board our guest speaker. Am I right, please? We have our guest speaker on board, Mrs. Imaobong Ladipo Sanusi, the Executive Director, WorkLab. She'll be speaking to us on the civil society perspective of the issue of organized crime, with a view to unveiling the network so that we can effectively combat human trafficking as organized crime. Don't forget, I think it's pointed it out, the criminal can organize themselves. Criminals that are lawless without the law can organize themselves. Then we, the authorized stakeholders, will be able to organize ourselves to disorganize the organized criminal gang. Over to you, Mrs. Imaobong Ladipo Sanusi, please. Please, can you unmute yourself, please? Can you unmute yourself and speak out? Mrs. Sanusi, are you there, please? Now we have the head of
I don't know. Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Director General and all. Good morning, Director General and all. Hello? Are you coming down here? Hello, good morning, Director General and all. Am I clear? I'm trying to speak. I don't know if anyone can hear me. Good morning, Director General and all.
While we are sorting that out, can we? Okay, while we are trying to sort out that technical issues there, we like to have the head of ICU, Vice Mrs. Chinenye Edola, who will be giving us the perspective of international coordination and international aspects, plus the intelligence-based investigation from the unit of how we can unmask the network. She will help us to unmask the network and how to combat the human trafficking effectively. Over to you.
Good morning, distinguished participants. Good to have all of you on board. I just want to simply put it this way, that trafficking in persons can be seen as fluid, and as such can change its nature as long as the perpetrators' objectives are met, which is basically exploitation. Now, trafficking in persons could be internal or external. When we look at the exploitation of human trafficking, aspect of human trafficking, what are we talking about? We are looking at the basic ones, which are sexual exploitation, labor exploitation, deprivation of offspring of another, blah, blah, blah. But in the course of our duties, we've noticed and realized that there are new trends coming up on board these days. For instance, we have the issues of scholarship scheme, whereby the trafficker advertises for scholarships online. People apply for it, he screens them and picks like 15 people, offers them scholarship, promises them scholarship in schools, and they are taken to a certain country, mostly Australia, where they go and they are being exploited. With the help of our sister agencies and proper coordination, we were able to walk into that and coordinate that, and the victims were repatriated, rescued and repatriated. There is another form of human trafficking coming up on board, which is the loan scheme, whereby the perpetrator advertises for loans online, and people apply. After applying, they get the loan. The perpetrator goes back, giving them conditions. Can you finish? Will you be able to cope with repayment of this loan? If they are not able to pay, they will offer them trip outside the country. And when you double into it, you end up in the traffickers there. Also, we have the issue of the trafficking of victims. When victims finish or exhaust their payments, unquote, they are being trafficked to another group in another country and all whatnot. This has been happening, and based on our intelligence, this is the new trends we've been able to unravel. Now, how do we work? NAPTIP does not work in silo. We work with everybody. The fight against human trafficking is not the fight for NAPTIP, it's a fight for everybody. And we adopted a cooperation, collaboration, and partnership scheme, whereby we have partners across worldwide. We have sister law enforcement agencies that work with us, who are at different locations. So they help us. Once we prompt them, they help us in coordinating the rescue and repatriation of these victims. All in all, the fight against human trafficking is a fight for you and I, because it can happen to anybody and nobody knows where it's coming from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We now have the guest speaker now. You have the guest speaker now? Yes. Okay, let's have her before we come back. Please, can you unmute yourself? Okay, while we are working on that, also, I want to ask the Director, Investigation and Monitoring Department. We know that the section of the society, the disability community, can we know from your investigation, has there been any case involving there? Has there been anybody that is any suspect convicted either as it is a person with disability exploiting others, or has there been any member of the community reporting case of exploitation to the agency? Director, Investigation and Monitoring, sir.
Yes, we have had cases concerning people with disability. The agency has recorded a successful conviction against people with disabilities. Recently, too, we have had 2 reported cases from organizations that work with people with disabilities. Those cases are still ongoing.
Has there been anybody convicted of either a person with disability convicted trial and
Yes.
convicted by the agency?
Can
you let us know what led to that and presence?
There have been a conviction. One of the early cases that the agency handled was a case of a deaf and dumb individual from Lagos who was recruiting other deaf and dumb people and using them to beg all over the federation, not just Lagos. So we had issues of these people begging in places like Plateau State and other states of the federation. So he was successfully prosecuted in a state high court in Plateau State, and he was sentenced to jail.
And I wish to recall also a few months ago, there was somebody with visual impairment who was a blind man who was convicted, tried and convicted also. Can you let us know the state of that case, sir? I know he was convicted.
Yes, that actually was a case of rape, which was handled by the Violence Against Persons Department. The person in question was visually impaired. He couldn't see properly, and from the medical investigation that was done, he was gradually losing his sight. And he molested an underage girl, and he was tried and found guilty of that crime, and he was sentenced to jail. He is right now in Kuje prisons. He has been remanded in Kuje prisons to serve his term as a convict.
Okay.
All right. Okay. The first question by Juliet Obo, because I had dropped a report of tracking a month ago, I have not seen any action taken to rescue the girls. So I was wondering, how long does it take for these girls to be rescued, and what can be done to have a proper communication with the one who has raised alarm so they feel assured something is going on? This is from Juliet Obo.
Can I take it? Okay. Hello, dear Juliet. If you can recall, in the course of my presentation, I explained to you that NAPTIP does not work alone. We work with our partners because we are not at destination countries. So, and in view of that, I believe the action has been taken on the rescue of the girls. It's not we don't come out to blow our whistle until we have concrete information on these skills. But be rest assured that action has been taken. We've communicated the necessary authorities to take up action to identify these girls in their wherever they are. Now, I will share with you an email address. We can chat, send me email on int@naptip.gov.ng. So I can engage you personally and take it up from there. Thank you.
All right, Juliet, I hope you are clear with that response, and also you can drop your contact also on our hotline also, and so that we can engage you. Just like the director explained to you, there is what we call sovereignty of nation. So there are various diplomatic stages in rescue victims outside the country. So we are following those processes and procedures, and we'll get to the feedback. And also to add that you have the right to get the feedback. You have the right to request this case, just as we have done now. Thank you very much. Can we take the next question, please? Mr. Titus, steward of the agency, he has a lot to tell us and to convey to us about the network. He has a lot to tell us. So please let's hear from him. Mr. Titus.
Good morning, all. Just like Mr. Wilson said, my name is Titus. I get cybercrime response team in NAPTIP. Just before, let me just be a little bit academic before I now go into what we do. I mean, cybercrime, as we know, is a crime in violation of law, which means information and communication technology equipment are being tampered with, are being used to share illegal. So in this sense, that if it can be misused to utilize people, data or systems as a core part of the crime or means to commit a crime. So if you use any of the devices to commit a crime, then you are violating such laws. But in NAPTIP here, we looked at two different aspects of the crime that are being used, which we call the cyber-dependent crime and then cyber-enabled crime. The cyber-dependent crimes are those that you have to have computer to actually commit those crimes. But the cyber-enabled crimes are like the traditional crimes, and that is where most of the cases that comes to NAPTIP focuses on which is the traditional crime facilitated by internet and digital technologies, which can be human trafficking, smuggling in persons, child online sexual exploitation, drug trafficking, sextortion, cyber stalking, and online harassment, and then we have also terrorists and recruitment and finance. But the area where NAPTIP focus on, especially the NAPTIP response is trafficking in persons, smuggling in migrants, child online sexual exploitation, and recently the most emerging one and the most pandemic of all is the sextortion. And so if you want to understand what is called cyber-enabled trafficking, which is the cyber-enabled trafficking refers to the use of digital technologies, such as internet, social media, and mobile communication to facilitate various forms of human trafficking. This includes recruitment, exploitation, and transportation of victims for purposes at sport level, sexual exploitation, or even organ trafficking. So if you look at that, you know that most of the crimes that are done now, because in NAPTIP, I mean, there are victims that from recruitment up to the exploitation stage, they never even see the recruiter. It's just by the telephone or by internet or by WhatsApp or social media handles that they are reported and then move to the madams, and then that's where the exploitation then starts. If you looked at also NAPTIP, I mean, because of that, even the traffic, there are a lot of women trafficking going on engagements, I mean, in Nigeria today, whereby children, young boys are being forced, are being trafficked for them to commit actually fraud. They are taken into different countries, especially the ones around West Africa, to actually go and then they have a school whereby they will be trained on how to use computer to commit crime. Just recently, not too long ago, I mean, the Director General just received, 231 victims of human trafficking from Ghana. And those guys, those boys are just trafficked to Ghana merely for them to commit fraud and then brought back to Nigeria. And 25 suspects have been arrested and then happened in conjunction with EFCC and handling that particular case also. So let's look at what is called what is digital pandemic, which is a pandemic that we have now, which is extortion. It's a form of blackmail where someone threatens to distribute sexually explicit images or videos of any person unless they receive money, sexual favors, or other forms of payment and benefits. In fact, there's no single day that the journal does not receive, 2 to 3 complaints on sextortion, especially when something like revenge porn, from local and international in the organization. So these are some of the things. So we look at areas look at the tools that are being used actually for this kind of crimes. We look at there are technology tools, there are data storage tools, and there are anonymity tools. And the communication tools mainly are social media platforms that are used: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, WhatsApp. They are used actually for our own to help businesses, but at the same time, the criminals exploit the gaps in those tools and actually law some bells for that. And then data storage and sharing devices, we have where they hide most of this data. Then we have the anonymity tools, which are like VPNs, proxy services, dark web, deep web. Those are tools that they usually use to hide under to do that. And then we have also the payment technology tools, which use cryptocurrencies, widespread these days because most of these traffickers or most of these crimes are making money don't go through the traditional financial institutions. So they go through cryptocurrencies or means that are not actually the traditional means. And advertising and recruitment, my senior colleague just talked about recruitment. So there are so many fake jobs being posted online. So those are some tools that they use. Then what they do, they manipulate and control this using deep technology or deep nude. These technology tools are some that you can see they'll just use that, get your image, and then convert this image to what they can actually manipulate and threaten you. I mean, just recently, I think, a member from the House of from the Senate was actually a deep link was used to actually manipulate his image and then share it, which is actually a lie. But at the end of the day, I think the Nigerian police handled that, and I think the suspects were actually apprehended for doing that. So we have the scope of the problem. It's quite large. In Nigeria, it was extortion between 2022 to today. We have almost about 30,000 cases of extortion coming into Nigeria. The NAPTIP has actually received over 1 million cases from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And out of those cases, we've been able to prioritize about 500 of those cases and then working with other agencies to see where we can look at those cases, mainly at child online sexual exploitation, sale and distribution of pornographic materials. So these are, then let's look at the methods that these perpetrators use. First of all, they have fake identities on social media. They create different kinds of accounts. then the manipulation through affection and promises, they will tell you get a good job or boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, then press to release. After you have done that, then they will now threaten you to release the pictures, the images of you. If you don't do that, then psychological pressure will then come in, and then you have to succumb by paying some money, either in kind or in cash. And then what are the steps? First of all, they contact you. Basically, what they do, they contact the victim. They try to gain trust of the victim, and then they request for compromising material. They ask, share your image for me, and then they will just lie to you that, they are beauty pageants and they need to get a picture, they need to get naked pictures for them to confirm whether you qualify for that particular pageant. By the time you send those pictures, it becomes a problem, and then they are not threatening to release those materials. If you don't do that, then they begin to send the images out and even sell it on other networks. And then basically we look at the demographics of the victims. Mostly they are young adults and adolescents, online data, individuals in positions of authority. I just mentioned something that happened to a senator now, celebrities and public figures, vulnerable individuals like our victims that have been trafficked, and emotionally distressed individuals are also. There's a case I think NAPTIP handled, and I think of a lady who is married to someone big, and they have an issue, and she went to look for a relationship somewhere, and before she knew it, the person began to blackmail her because she was already emotionally distressed, and she thought she could get somebody as a good friend, and then that person happened to be extorting her. So that's an example. Then we look at the profiles of the typical criminals that usually go online to do that. We have this social media, online editors, we have the Nigerian tertiary institution students, we have some students that are in institutions now that what they do is go online. Then we have school dropouts, we have the Yahoo boys, we have the revenge pornographers, and then we have the opportunity offenders. These people just go online and just begin to check. By the time they go and look at, their profile on Facebook, on WhatsApp, Instagram, or any of the social media, then they just go to try their luck. By the time they get you, they begin to send you messages, and you will be falling victim. In that, and then NAPTIP, I've done a lot of efforts, and that we've partnered with a lot of agencies, the FCC, UNODC, the National Crime Agency, International Justice Mission, Federal Bureau of Investigation, META, and other key partners that we've actually worked with. So basically, what are we to do? A call for action, we need to stay informed. We need to spread awareness, report any suspicious activities through channels, report technology responsibly, use technology responsibly, and support any victim that you meet. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Titus. I know that if I allow you, in the next 1 hour, you'll see me there reading out issues that have to do with online exploitation. And very important here for us to know that he has explained it, but we need to know that when relationship begins to get beyond the elbow, you have to be careful to show sharing your privacy pictures, your intimate pictures, and all that. So let us be careful about it. I think I'm sure we have Mrs. Rubabong Ladipo Sanusi online now. If that is the case, please can we just
Okay, good morning. Okay, good morning, Director General and everyone. Am I audible enough? Okay. Okay. My name is Zima Bongladi Posanusi from Whatcliff. Thank you for the invite. And I pray and ask that God will give us grace. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? But I've unmuted. Can you hear me now? Am I clear? Am I clearer now? Hello? 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 Okay, I heard that you can hear me. Okay, good morning, Director General and everyone. Thank you for the invite. I pray as we mark the 2025 World Day Against Human Trafficking, that God gives us wisdom on how to address things and carry out our various interventions. Well, the issues are always still there. We get a lot of reports from girls in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and I know sometimes it's logistic issues. And we get a lot of reports from schools. I guess it's very difficult for logistic. I'm even making excuses now for you. These logistic issues, I think, is very important now for rescue and support for victims. Recently, on Wednesday, there was a bill, there was a public hearing and submission of memorandum for a bill to establish the Child's Rights and Protection Commission. A lot of people reach out to me asking that, what is NAPTIP doing concerning this? I said, well, it's a bill. It's just a bill, and I think it has reached the second hearing. So I just want to ask a question concerning that. What exactly does NAPTIP think about that bill? Because a lot of people believe that is overlapping and duplication of efforts for NAPTIP. Thank you.
For the hearing of the bill. So they have even write their report. So now the report is with us. We have really opposed the bill. As you said, the bill contradicts the mandates or overlap our mandate. So we are taking a position regarding that bill, the proposed bill rather.
Okay, thank you, sir. Because I noticed that NAPTIP was not in the House of Representatives that day. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, we are there.
Okay. Meanwhile, just for the last note, Director General, hello, Director General, yesterday, two of the survivors of the victims referred to Wharncliffe graduated, have completed their junior secondary school exams, and they graduated. On tomorrow, Saturday, 3 more will be graduating from senior secondary school. They are reaching their WAEC, their NECO, and JAMB. But only one of them is a NAPTIP survivor, victim. The other two were referred from the police. So it's just a good news that 5 victims will be graduating from junior and senior secondary school in Wharncliffe. Thank you.
That's good news.
Thank you, Mrs. Ramon. And also, please, while you are still online, we want to also know we are expected to hear from you. The civil society perspective of unmasking the network combating human trafficking as organized crime. We want to hear from you on this. We know that you handled a couple of projects by development partners, even within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, and you have also related effectively with networks of civil society organizations outside the country. So what are your own perspectives? What from your own work, what are those network notice? What are those organized syndicates you have noticed or you have discovered in the course of your work? And how best do you think they can be addressed? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I heard Vice Chinaye's voice. We've been working closely with her in the international corporations. I remember 2 girls were brought from India, the strangest place, and those girls shared their pathetic experiences as usual. So we've been working closely with NAPTIP international corporations. We've been working closely with NAPTIP Rapid Response. We've been working too with the BAP department and even the legal department. There are times we call them and then they respond, and direct us accordingly. So for the international corporations, one of the things that have worked for us in Worksley, because a lot of people call us both internationally and nationally, is the West African Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants, NAPTIP, particularly in Ghana. We have recorded so much success stories. I think one of the things we are promoting is that community engagement on the responsibility. Sometimes I see that it is almost impossible. Hello, can you still hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. Sometimes for you to call people in the dead of the night by 2 a.m., it is almost impossible that something can be done because of administrative bottleneck. But for instance, in Ghana, our WAPTISN representative there, in the name of Eric, he has done so much. There was a night what club was called, and through our Plateau State coordinator, Juma Madaki, that they found 2 girls loitering in the petrol station around 2 a.m. and they said they were from Plateau Jos. The best thing I could do was to call that man in Ghana, the WAPTISN representative. And he went to that petrol station because the address was so sure. He found the 2 girls. You know what happened? He made sure he got vehicle for them that night. And we got to realize that the small transport companies, they are the ones that the traffickers use. But for those that are registered transport companies that are well known, at least we know them in Nigeria, that those ones can even support us to fight, to combat human trafficking. They are aware. We have sensitized them. Even through this WAPTISN, we are doing the sensitization. Those girls entered the vehicle. But what about the transport money for that night? It was out of pocket. And the girls arrived safely to Lagos, where the community, that is their tribal community, received them in Lagos.
All right, thank you.
And they are safely at home. But in Côte d'Ivoire, the case is not like that. But in Mali, we also made, because we have networks there that always support to bring the issue is how those immediately. That is the challenge. Thank you. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. Imabon Ladipo Sanusi, for that comment and explanation. As we try to round up, I think we have a question there, very important. Please, can you read it out?
Okay. This question is from Ifeoluwa Adewale. Thank you so much, NAPTIP, for this insightful session. NAPTIP, I have a question. What are the current strategies to prevent students within secondary institutions being trafficked?
Thank you, Ifeoluwa. The agency actually has a very good prevention strategy. And we're not just talking about secondary schools institutions. We are looking at even the primary and the tertiary institutions because we believe in catching them young. And if we're able to reach the children before the traffickers do, we would have succeeded in stemming the tide of this crime. Number one, in the agency, we have what we call the School Advocacy and Education and Empowerment Project. So this is STIP project. This project is aimed at enlightening the children, letting them know the red flags, and also co-opting them as our ambassadors. So they can go out there, inform people about the red flags that could make them susceptible to human trafficking, and also could arm them with measures or skills that they can use to avoid being trafficked. So apart from the STIP, we also carry out sensitization and awareness campaigns in all schools, even with market women, with all people across all walks of life. So it's a multi-sectoral, multi-dimensional approach in order to get these children away from the traffickers. So we do also find avenues to talk to parents, to talk to teachers, and let even the school authorities know. So this part of this tip is also to educate the school authorities and even the education authorities. We have the SUBE, we have the UBEC, we have even the state organizations. All of them work with us, even across all parts of the country. So for us in the agency, we have been able to inaugurate over 220 vanguards in schools across Nigeria. Thank you. We also have counselors that we educate because they are very, very important in this fight against human trafficking.
Yes, the school curriculum.
The school of curriculum, yes.
Yes, that trafficking buses into the school for. That's very important.
Yeah. So we have subjects across so many in the secondary school, like civic education, the English language, literature, social studies, that have human trafficking issues infused in them. So we even have students coming to the agency to ask and get first-hand information so it can help them in their academics.
All right, there's another question there. Can we have that?
Okay, the question is still from Juliet Obolo. How can one become a volunteer for NAPTIP to reach out to schools in their own areas?
Well, what we know is that we cannot fight this crime alone. And so we have so many volunteers from even the schools, from the communities, from the civil societies. So, and we encourage everyone to join us in this fight because it's a clandestine crime. And for us to be able to dismantle this criminal gang, we have to work with everybody. We are also not in all of local government areas, and that's why we have the outcome, that's the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, so that we can get everyone from different parts of the country to be involved. So you are welcome, just write to us, let us know how we can partner with you and we'll work out the modalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Juliet. I think the next 2 minutes will be wrapping up. We just the last question. Okay, let's just take that because Dizzy has some other very as part of the activity also.
Okay. All right, I think the next question is from Sahid Padime. He says, hello, it's good to be here. We have a situation in Ijebu, Ejesha, Ogun State, just across the street. Underage girls are being prostituted in a camouflage home. It is so bad that the number of underage children are increasing all the time. They walk about like victims of trafficking in skimpy, revealing dresses. The community has not done anything about it. Hence, we're reaching to NAPTIP. We have done all the acts to do about that. Let me see next. Okay. So we have done all they've asked us to do about, no real feedback today.
All right, thank you for that. I think this is just reporting a case. We appreciate.
There's a follow-up again.
Okay.
Ironically, this is a place where there is a civil defense office just a stone throw away. This extensive trafficking is under their noses. It is possible to speak over Zoom. Is it possible to speak over Zoom in detail? Because we have sent emails to the official mails and only got automatic responses. We have also reached out to Oshogo and Abuja.
Okay, we want to thank you for reaching out to us and you've reported the case. So please, can you just leave your contact of the Zoom?
NAPTIP.
Oh, okay, on NAPTIP.
We send it.
Okay, so he is just reporting a case. So please, we want you to, yes, we'll just giving you our email now. Somebody will follow up now, please. Just put your contact and get this case again reported on this email we just sent to you now. And somebody has just been detailed now to follow it up and to ensure that we get back to you as soon as we're able to get your mail on this, please. Thank you for getting back to us, for reaching us. On this note, Director General of NAPTIP, we want to thank you for your prayer because we know the volume of work that is waiting for you. Thank you, for opening this section, and we want to thank all our directors, the SA to the Director General, the technical team, our viewers, and our guest speaker also. This is Igbabon Ladipo Sanusi, the Executive Director of WorkLab. We want to thank you for your time. Thank you for the information you share with us. I want to thank you also for our survivors that are graduating. We are happy about our decision. Is extremely happy over this. We want to thank everybody. We want to let you know that the continuation for the celebration of World Day Against Human Trafficking 2025 continues, please. And on Monday we have the walk. On Wednesday we have a hybrid summit also in Abuja here. And we have also programs going up in all our commands across the country. So we want to thank you. Continue to partner with NAPTIP, and I will end with the last quote of the Director General, that if the criminal-minded people can organize and begin to give us headache, then those of us who are lawful institution and partner should be able to organize ourselves to be able to disorganize the organized criminal group. On this note, I sign off. My name is Vincent, the press officer. Thank you so much.